Hey everybody. Um, I originally planned to put out a much longer video on this topic, but after seeing a certain article, um, that just even just thinking about it now, I literally just looked at this statement that CNN put out in response to Donald Trump's accusations of fake news, and it's like, wow. I mean, I'm gonna try really hard to pretty much get through the next 5 minutes without using profanity, but all I can really say is, are you serious? I mean, I'm gonna be straight honest with you guys. I used to watch CNN all the time before I educated myself on what the real deal is with mainstream media in general. But I mean, for those of you that haven't seen the statement yet, I'm gonna read it right now. And I quote, CNN's decision to publish carefully sourced reporting about the operations of our government is vastly different than BuzzFeed's decision to publish unsubstantiated memos. The Trump team knows this. They are using BuzzFeed's decision to deflect from CNN's reporting, which has been matched by the other major news organizations. We are fully confident in our reporting. It represents the core of what the First Amendment protects, informing the people of the inner workings of their government. In this case, briefing materials prepared for President Obama and President Trump last week. We made it clear that we were not publishing any of the details of the 35-page document because we have not corroborated the report's allegations, given that members of the Trump transition team have so vocally criticized our reporting. We encourage them to identify specifically what they believe to be inaccurate. End quote. Man, oh man. All I can really say is hashtag keeping CNN honest. I mean, if I were to really get into the nitty gritty and really go over case after case after case after case from just last year, 2016 alone, in which CNN has been found culpable in biased reporting, inaccurate reporting, and so on and so on, I probably need well over an hour. And just for the record, I'm not a Democrat or a Republican anymore. I didn't vote for either Trump or Clinton, so for those that may want to explore that particular line of questioning, that doesn't apply to me. I mean, really is something else. I mean, wow. CNN is in full damage control because they know, not just because of who this is in regards to, but because they're worried about a lot of things that they should have been worried about years and years ago. I mean, I don't know if most of you guys have probably never heard of this, but there is a nonprofit organization called Fairness and Accuracy in Reporting, or FAIR, FAIR for short. Feel free to Google it. The main purpose of FAIR is to fact check mainstream media, not just the major TV networks, but newspapers such as the New York Times and the Washington Post. And if you were to follow them either on social media or check out their websites, they put out a daily list of things that came up in the media that were proven to be either misconstrued or were just flat out false. And CNN is no different from, and it doesn't get spared a lot of scrutiny, not just from the right or alt right, as CNN introduced that buzzword, or those that are inexperienced politically, and so forth and so on. But in general, it's really interesting when you think about a lot of the things that CNN should have been focusing on just from last year, and instead decided to waste weeks and weeks and months on instead. Just speaks to just how much CNN is morally bankrupt, and really is a shame. Wow. There's a lot more that I would like to say with much stronger language, but like I said, I wanted to keep this PG, so I'm gonna just leave it at that. But it's just like, CNN. For those of you from that network that may by chance glance at this, just be honest. If you wanna do a live stream and have a conversation about this, I am more than welcome to doing that with me. I mean, if you want to do that, we can definitely have that conversation, but you guys are not as innocent as you guys like to pretend to be. Let's be honest. I mean, never mind the fact that I have personal grievances with your network, and both in terms of what you choose to focus reporting on and who pays you. But those are separate topics for another video. Yeah, but yeah. I mean, honestly, one of the biggest gripes in general that not just myself, but a lot of what I would like to call off the cuff news programs or news providers such as the Young Turks and many others who cover things that actually do matter. You know, as much as not just CNN but also MSNBC and Fox News likes to throw programs like the Young Turks and other smaller news organizations under the bus. I mean, at least they actually have a sense of, at least they actually have a sense of what integrity is supposed to look like. I mean, they own up to their mistakes gladly and on a regular basis, and that's something that you can't really say about CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, a lot of it has to do with the fact that they're not owned by anybody, but hey, shots fired. I mean, we live in an age where mainstream media is pretty much irrelevant at this point. I mean, it's one thing if we're talking local news and statewide news, but if we're talking national and international news, mainstream media is useless. I mean, a lot of the stuff that's going on in Washington right now that mainstream media claims is important and First Amendment rights and we need to have 24/7 access. I mean, the more you really think about it, the more it's just making a big deal out of nothing at this point. I mean, they claim that they're just trying to provide news to their they just claim they're just trying to provide quality news to their to viewers, but in reality, it's all about ratings and sponsors and all that other stuff. But anyway, it's like um, it's like the saying goes: "The longest rope has an end," and the more CNN and all the other mainstream media chooses to bash social media and everyone that isn't isn't one of them for doing their job better than they ever could. It just speaks to the desperation with them to try to be relevant. I mean, if they want to be relevant, first and foremost is admitting admitting to past mistakes. That's it. And number two, if they say number two, they need to stop saying that they are impartial because they're clearly not. Mainly because of who pays them. I mean, and I know I've said I mean about 20, almost 2 dozen times, but I mean just really thinking about it, it's something else. I mean, on the one hand, I do understand the whole argument. Anybody just because you have a camera or a blog or whatever doesn't mean that you're a reliable source and all that stuff. But on the other hand, that isn't for mainstream media to decide. I mean, that's my whole that's one part of my kind of argument to that. Just because someone posted on a random website somewhere doesn't mean it's credible. I understand that, but on the other hand, you know, how do you know it's not? How do you know? How do you really know? Is the question and that works both ways. On the one hand, I do get the whole how do you know it's not fake news or how do you know someone didn't just put their little spin on it. But on the other hand, when mainstream media puts stuff out there, no one they don't even listen to FAIR and many other watchdog groups for the mainstream media that say, "Hey, you guys made a mistake. You need to fix this." They ignore them. So yeah, uh, this video went on for almost twice as long as intended, but hashtag keeping CNN honest, hashtag shame on CNN, hashtag freedom of the press. I'm gonna just leave it at that. Y'all have a good afternoon.